I'm Simon Phillips. I'm a member of the Jewish community. I'm also a White Ribbon ambassador. The White Ribbon campaign is the international campaign that encourages men and boys of all cultures, all faiths, to stand up against violence against women and girls. I'm proud to be recording this video to support the Religions for Peace 16 Days of Action work this year. And I just want to talk a little bit about a culture of domestic violence and abuse. There's a need for all men and indeed all boys to take action and stand against violence and abuse against women and girls and challenge the everyday culture that promotes it. And sadly, sometimes that culture might be a faith-related culture, faith-related setting, and that's why it's so important to look at the often gendered spaces in faith organisations that might support or justify in some way violence, abuse and indeed harassment against women and girls. So within Judaism, there's various quotations I want to mention which support the fact that men and boys should stand up. So in the book of Leviticus, it says, "Do not stand idly on the blood of your neighbour." And that's not letting something happen, it's being an active bystander and challenging violence, abuse and indeed misogyny where that might happen. The famous scholar Rabbi Moses Isserles, in his book called The Shulchan Aruch, said, "A man who hits his wife transgresses as one who hits his neighbour." That's how serious it is. And the scholar Maimonides, Rabbi Moses ben Maimon, in his Mishnah Torah opus, said, "Thus commanded the sages, a man should honour his wife more than his own body and love her like his own body." And in the Talmud, which is the compendium of learning from all sorts of different sources, it says, "A man should not project excessive fear in his household." I also want to focus on something called Eshet Chayil. Now, Eshet Chayil is a prayer which is said every Friday evening as we welcome in the Sabbath. It's recited by mostly husbands directed towards their wives, but it can be recited by any male member of the family and directed against any female member of the family. Eshet Chayil is a prayer which means woman of worth or woman of valour. It actually comes from the book of Proverbs, as a matter of fact, chapter 31. And the custom was actually initiated in the 17th century on the basis that the Sabbath is an occasion of the mystical union with the divine, and often the divine in this case is seen as the feminine, the female. And that's how Proverbs 31, Eshet Chayil, woman of worth, that's why it focuses on this. And the idea that with the Sabbath, there should be renewed energy that starts the Sabbath, which can also be interpreted as renewed energy to strengthen our relationship with the female members of our family, but particularly with our wives. And what's interesting is it's actually preceded by 9 verses of instruction offered by an unnamed Queen Mother to her son King Lemuel, in which she warns him against drunkenness and debauchery with women, encouraging him instead to judge righteously and be an advocate for the needy. And so one way to read this is with King Lemuel, is that it's directed against his mother, but also against potentially a partner as well, encouraging him to act in a virtuous and ethically positive way against all forms of women and girls. So that's just a flavour of what Judaism says. I hope this has proved a really, really good insight, and I hope that this video supports the work that the Religions for Peace network are doing, and I look forward to supporting the work of faiths and culture in tackling gender-based violence and abuse.